Dun 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 dun. It timed up kind of well with the crunch. Like, reasonably well. Good morning. I'm an adult that can choose to have cookies for breakfast, so I just want everyone to accept it right here at the beginning. I'm going to be eating cookies. They're iced oatmeal cookies. I think those are
Oh, that makes them all.
Well, no, those are adult cookies. They're for adults. They're for adults because you know, you got the bitter coffee and you have something sweet. That's allowed. That's pretty sure. Mm-hmm. An entire box. Probably not an entire box. Probably like a few. Ooh, they're good. I just opened them downstairs. So they're like super fresh. They only taste like that when you first open them. They're really... Anyway. Joel, remember when this show promoted good health with toast? The bread is freezer burnt. I'm still eating it, but it is freezer burnt. It's I don't know if it's freezer burnt. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. The corners are kind of wet, which is like a side effect of being freezer burnt, but kind of hard to explain. Anyway.
After you toast the bread, the corners stay wet.
Yeah.
Not like a lot of it. It's just like...
It's enough for me to go...
And I don't care.
So lately, like, you know, for lunch or whatever, I'll make like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And what I'll do is I'll toast the bread, and when it comes out, the bottom corners I just tear off. So it looks ridiculous. And I don't tear off a lot, but it's just there's a little bit that has retained moisture. And I don't like it. It's not what it's supposed to taste like. So my bread has got like, you know, the normal bread shape on the top, and then it comes down, and then it gets to like near the bottom and goes. Rip. I could tell you a lot about.
Chaz, are you sure you miss us?
Here's your chance to bail out. You could come up with so many reasons to be like, yeah, I will not, won't see you soon, sorry. Anyway. So it's like, it's Tuesday? Is that what day it is? Alright.
Do you know what's tonight?
Oh my god. Yeah, I do now. Disc Only is tonight.
You should consider reminding everyone else. Because you didn't remember till now. After I told you.
Last month, I messaged the group 10 minutes before air. Because no one had said anything. And I was like, so everybody getting ready, excited? And that was when John was like, for what, Steven? And like he... Infuriating. Anyway, so that's tonight. It's tonight.
Coffee.
I'm looking forward to discussing some combination of like restaurants and crimes. It seems to be what we've been stuck on. I'm fine with it. All right, so let's start reading some words here because we actually have quite a few. We have some from like a few here from a few days ago. Neat. So Denny's. Is Denny's just in and of itself a crime against restaurants? I can think of so many worse things than Denny's. For what it's worth. Denny's knows its place in the world and is not trying to be something it's not, and I can respect that.
I've never been.
What?
I've never been to Denny's.
Get out.
We did not have a Denny's. We always went to Perkins.
You've never been to a Denny's?
Never had one.
Brandon says Denny's is a big dice roll.
Renee misses Perkins too.
Perkins is better than, like, from an establishment standpoint. Like in how nice it is, Perkins is better than Denny's. I could make a tier list
Of like
I won't.
chain breakfast places. Waffle House. Perkins.
Well, it'd be a hard list actually. I just realized because, like, yeah, I like Waffle House a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Waffle House is amazingly consistent, but it's not like nice. You'd have to rate it on a few different things. There'd be multiple
Yeah.
things to it.
Yeah, because there's like the diner style stuff, like Waffle House. And then there's places like Blueberry's Grill, which isn't really a national chain, but something a bit nicer.
Yeah. Yeah, Blueberry. You know, you go into a nice restaurant, or at least they're trying to the facade of niceness, when they don't put like 99 as the cents on the individual menu items. Sorry, that's a whole thing, and I don't want to get into it because it frustrates me to no end. But like, a meal is $7.99. Gosh darn it, not $7.32.
Well, you know they're thinking hard about what their price should be.
They're not thinking. They're just like, ah, and that's it. That's the entire process. So the entire menu is this $7.32. Okay, how much is it? $1.65. Ah. Like, I hate that so much.
You hate that it's not an even number or 1 cent away from an even number.
It's one of these things of like, we'll just do whatever. I hate that.
See, I think it means they thought hard about what their food is worth and how much they're making off of it.
There's no chance. There's no chance of that. I refuse to believe that. There's two things that's the one that frustrates me. There's another way of doing menu items, and that's actually the fancier thing, is generally like there's just no sense. And I'm fine with it. You go to like a really nice place where it's starting to get like, I don't know, $20 a plate, and the menu is just there's no pages. It's just like a sheet, and they hand it to you, and it's got just a single number in the world's smallest font, like somewhere nearby the thing.
17.
Yeah. But at least I can respect that because the math is easy to do. You're like, okay, this will cost me this number. And yes, like Brandon says, no dollar signs. Just a number. Just a number. How frustrating would it be to go to one of those places, no dollar signs, but it's like 17.58.
Oh, see, I get super anxious if there's no price.
Have we ever been somewhere where there wasn't a price?
I can think of 1 or 2 places, but we did not pay for dinner that night.
It is not below me to if I was in that situation, be like, yeah, how much your food? Couldn't help but notice you gave me the menu, got all the prices smudged off. I'm gonna need them prices. See, the restaurant patron relationship is I eat here and give you money. Currently, I do not know how much money it will cost me to eat here. That's a very important part of the restaurant-patron relationship.
The places that we went that didn't have the prices. Those were the days we went to, like, Burger King after, because they were tapas.
Okay. One of the nicest places we ever ate for food was, the French restaurant.
What's it called?
But I think even they have, like, prices.
It's just, like, up the beach.
Yeah, everyone thought you said topless.
Tapas. Tapas.
Tapas. Oh, I can rant about tapas. I need to read alerts. But remind me and I'll come back.
The Brentwood. That's the French place.
Also, topless Burger King it's an idea. Does the world need it? Is the world asking for it? No. But this is an idea. It's an idea. Moving on. 13 months from Twitchy Toes. Appreciate it. 7 months from Taco Bell Chihuahua. Ay caramba.
Spinach Trap says, tapas are just tiny expensive food. Not wrong.
It's completely what it is. Completely what it is. We get a sub from Rowburbs. Welcome. 20 months from Hugplex20. Golden sub. Nice. 10 months from Van the Tokemon says, 10 months thermodynamics. Struggled a little bit, but regains my footing. It's a good song. 5 months from available username. 12 months from Uchi Plays, who says, yay! 12 months. Time for Crunch Stream. It is indeed. Good morning and welcome to you, and congrats on the one. We got 16 months from Epic DXX. 13 months from Aldo says, looking forward to disc only tonight. Remember, Grandpa, you talk after Tom. I swear to God, if they change that on me. I don't have to remember much for disc only. I don't. But that's the one thing I have to remember. So I go into the show and I just think, talk after Tom. That's it. It's the whole... Everything else is just listen to what people say and talk. I can do that real good.
You can't talk after Tom.
No, I do talk after.
That was my lungs. That
Don't you screw up tonight's performance, Mallory. Trying to remember one specific thing. 3 months from Land 144. Plus 300 bits from Ann, who says, thank you for subscribing to Ann's Animal Facts. One of the differences between large and small cats is whether they can roar or purr. Large cats roar, small cats purr. Also, because tigers are larger than lions, their roars are generally louder and most often used for media sound effects of lions roaring. We are all glad Kepler is a purr cat instead. This has been Ann's Animal Facts.
Coffee!
I would like to hear Kepler roar like once. I think that would be fun.
Coffee!
But I don't think he could do it.
No, he couldn't.
He barely meows.
He goes, huh.
He's much better at whining. Much better at whining. Oh yeah, did folks like the Kepler break? So fun little Kepler break in the most recent vlog. I think it's the most recent.
Sunday's vlog.
So the most recent vlog, yeah. I was trying to figure out where to cut, and then eventually I was like, I don't want to cut! And I was like, I can do whatever I want. 5 months from DJ Kaizo. He says, haven't been able to make it live for a while because I started a new job, but today I'm working. I'm going to mostly listen in. We're in your ears. Because they're listening. 30 bits from Bourbon to Dongo. Hey grandparents, I'm taking the journey currently in 2010, and I just watched one of the 2020 vlogs and got confused seeing Mao there. Hope you guys are doing okay. See, that's wild because like Mao is absolutely in a majority, like a large majority of the vlogs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess in 2010 we weren't married yet, so you know, you're not around much yet.
No.
It's weird because the vlog covers such a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things are really different a decade ago. I mean, things are different a year ago. They are, but, you know, even like a decade ago, like, Brandon says, Steven, the most of them, I think. There's I wonder if someone's done a list of the ones I'm not in. Or just not in very much. Doesn't happen very often. There's been occasions I've given the camera to folks and they've done stuff.
They've vlogged.
They've vlogged.
They've done your job.
There's a really early one, actually. There's a really early one where Dan and Taylor have the camera.
Yep.
And they go to like a shooting range or something.
Yep.
And I'm in that a little bit. A little bit. Oh yeah, and your art show.
Yeah.
That feels like a million years ago.
It was. 2010.
You don't even know. Was it 2010?
It was.
Because I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it was.
Couldn't tell you.
Pretty sure.
Spark says your wedding was filmed mostly by others. Yeah, but we're still in it.
Mm.
Yeah, Dan filmed the wedding. He was like a guest, but I was like, you do this.
You're Dan.
He wasn't like a hired wedding videographer. It was just like, hey Dan, will you film the vlog for today? And he was like, sure, buddy. And I was like, okay. And I wanted to be fancy, so I gave... we shot it on the HV20.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of interesting because like I think like the first 8 vlog days, something like that, are shot on the HV20. Then I started using the flip. And then the only other time we've ever used the HV20 was the wedding day.
Hi, buddy.
Things.
This one doesn't have enough frosting. This one's better. Here you go.
Hi, bud. You wanna sit? Come on, take a sit. Everyone's excited to see you. You gonna sit on me? You sit on her? Pick a sit. You've decided to sit. Okay. We got a subscription from Oddish Anthony. Welcome. 10 months from Chill Days, who says, yeah, haha. 14 months from Am in Iowa. Happy Tuesday. It is a happy Tuesday. Just keep them around. Or do you? Oh, you don't want to accidentally. Accidentally, just keep eating them. I understand. Also, 14 months from Ollie Tomlinson. 14 months, baby. I have to go to class in 30 minutes or so, but have a great stream. Maybe Nintendo might just drop another Direct because it's breakfast stream time. That's what they've done all year. Most of them, they've given us at least a day's notice, but there has been some where it's been just in the middle of the thing, so who knows. Oduo says it's 700 plus days in, but there's one where Jarrett goes and gets Halo Anniversary. You aren't really in that. That's true. Justin gets dressed up in costume. I think, yeah. There's another one where I'm with Justin and we take anniversary photos.
In the mall?
Was that a different Halo release? I guess? I don't remember exactly.
No. Maybe?
Maybe? I don't know. How many Halos are there? Like 2?
There's like 3 at least.
Oh, because there's one called Halo 3.
That was my thought process.
Justin, not Jared. Yeah, Justin is Justin is our Halo friend. Or prop friend. Or both. I guess up from Lift Rail, so welcome. 3 months from Destitel Racing. 3 months, hard to believe it. Been enjoying you guys so much, and I can't wait for my first Extra Life. Oh, it's gonna be exciting. Last night, I finished, mostly, I gotta look over it again, writing out all the info on the Extra Life page, and I made a banner.
Good job.
Thank you.
Doing your job.
Thank you. It's a good banner. I think I did pretty good. Every year I try to match the style of the game system that we're playing. I'm still working on the layout. I need to talk with Chaz because he's going to be doing some of the
Chaz magic.
Yeah, he's going to be doing Chaz magic. So I'm like, I got to design it in Photoshop, but I need to do so with the knowledge that it's going to get Chaz magic. So, yeah. Do you want to just copy that sealed one you got? No, but I will. I will. I will remember to do that. He says, thinking, will I remember to do that? Where am I?
Set a reminder.
Hey Siri, remind me at 4 p.m. to look into the sealed game, but not the sealed one, just a normal one. I don't know what that means.
Okay, add it to today's reminders.
Cool, you're great. He says, what's with the Chaz magic? I just joined in. So, real quick version is that for every single prior Extra Life up to this point, we've used Streamlabs to show. Well, we haven't used Streamlabs to show everything. Last year we did use Chaz code to show some stuff, but now Chaz code's going to be used to show even more of the stuff on screen. So like the donations and stuff will be Chaz code. The totals and stuff will be Chaz code.
Make it so he can see where Chaz code goes.
Kind of. Like, ideally, and I think this is how we're going to do it, is I will just freely design things however I want. Like, full control in Photoshop, and then I'll just give it to him, and he'll make...
Magic.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give him I'll show him a picture of, like, what I want it to look like, and then I'll give him a version with all of the elements missing, and he'll make all of the stuff look the same, which I assume sucks. Like, because, I have some level of experience with, HTML and CSS, and it sucks to try and, like, get things where you want them, because in Photoshop, I'm just like, drag. But, like, in when you code things, you gotta, like, do little... It sounds awful. I don't know how you do that. I remember, and this is going to take me back, but I remember being in... What was I in? Was I in middle school or high school or something? And, like, I remember working with a What You See Is What You Get editor called, like, Web Dwarf, which is probably some weird...
Dreamweaver?
Like shareware thing. Well, I use Dreamweaver, too. But, like... It was... You could drag stuff around then, but then your code was insane. Like, it didn't... It was like... If you looked at the code that was generated when you just, like, drag stuff around, it was bad. It was bad code. Like, it made you want to scream. Anyway. People today don't have those sorts of, like, problems.
No.
Because if you want to make a website, just use the... What is it? Squarespace or... What's the other one? There's Squarespace and Wix.
Wix.
Like, all of those things, like, you just do that. Lord, everything works now. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. Probably obvious because I'm using two different competing companies. But, like, just do that now. If you need a just do that. Lord of mercy. Just don't open Dreamweaver. Christ alive, I can't even imagine. Does Dreamweaver still exist?
I had to use Dreamweaver in middle school in 8th grade.
You started on that early.
For a technology class. And the teacher was not great. I think she was, like, brand new or something. And she was like, I don't know, make a page for our school website. And then she taught us how to use, like, not the coding part of Dreamweaver, but the other part. So she's like, this is how you hide it. And then we hid the code and then we just made the website.
Oh.
We were in 8th grade.
It's still a thing? God, I can only imagine.
Coffee.
I can only imagine. And he said, Steven, what is your pick for Steven's game for Extra Life? That's one of the things I still have to add.
Yeah.
I'm going to have those on, like, the actual Extra Life page. Or maybe they'll be on Twitch the day of or something. But I'm going to have, like, you know, something that's, like, if people want to donate towards games that we're interested in seeing, it'll just be on the page. But I'm not sure what that is. For Mao, you want to see Let's Play...
Oh, there's a few, but that's one of them, yeah.
Let's Play Ballerina. I got to figure out what it is I want seen. So I'm not sure.
Brandon says, hide the code and other tips and tricks for your website design.
Hide the code. Expert. Anyway, 30 bits from Kazuumi, who says, toast time. It is toast time. Correct. Any zoo game. Also, yes. Any game developed by Zoo. It's probably a good choice.
Speaking of websites, I don't remember the exact URL of it, but some kids in Carly's class in high school bought a domain name, and it had page in it, like web page. But they accidentally put an I in it, so it was Paige, like the girl's name. So after that, they just decided to make it about their classmate Paige.
That's funny and also extremely weird. And also really sad. When you're like buying a domain and you don't double check it to realize you spelled page right. That's pretty bad. It's literally 4 letters.
I know.
That's so sad, and I hate that story. 13 months from Paint Chipper. 13 months, oh my god. Wow, how time flies when you spend it with such a great community. Aw, that's very sweet. Thank you, Paint Chipper. You got 500 bits from August Anthony. Hello, grandparents of the internet. I decided to try and attend every breakfast stream going forward, but the issue I have is that I gotta wake up at 5:30 a.m. to do that. It's okay since I'm trying to get my sleep schedule together though. Also, recently turning 18 and moving out, I figured out adulting is hard. Cookies can soften the blow.
They do.
It's true. When you're a child, your parents might be like, you can't just eat cookies. Press X to doubt. You can. Now, should you eat them all the time? Probably not. But can you? Oh, yeah, you can. Cookies can be a meal. What about Cookie Crisp? That's literally, that was invented off of the idea that cookies can be a meal. Some mad scientist sitting in like, I don't know, probably New Jersey. In New Jersey.
Cereal.
Is like, you know what? What if kids ate cookies full stop? And his mad scientist friend, like, Bill, was like, that's great. That's the whole story. People really wanted the behind the scenes. Yeah, those Jersey scientists. Dr. Weird. Behold! Cookies!
Coffee!
I got there because of Jersey. 6 months from Shishu-sama. 6 months of crunch. Spent my morning walking to my city clerk in voting, heading back for actual breakfast now. Nice. Nice. We're expecting to get our ballots soon.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon. Pretty soon. Because we're doing the mailing. It can be a little difficult to do the in-person voting. But my respects to anyone who can do that and hopefully doesn't have to wait in a 8-hour line. We got 23 months, nearly there, from Arion661, who says, oh boy, nearly 2 years. Been playing Hades recently because I saw a streamer play it briefly. It's a roguelike game made by the people who made Bastion. Super great game, lots of replayability. We'd recommend. Any other Zag Swag peeps in the chat? Speaking of Hades, I was recently sent a copy of Hades by one of our patrons. And that will almost certainly make its way into the next First 20 stream. So if you're interested in checking out Hades, I'll show it to you at some point in the next, like, 2 weeks. Something like that. Anyway, what song is this? Okay, I'm just gonna uncheck it, and it can't be played again. Slowly squashing out the lyrics. Hey, by the way, I saw them. I saw them beans. It was a lot of beans. So I have the beans. Thank you. Also, it's updated. It's updated for October's list. So thank you to our patrons. I got it all updated, I hope. Pretty sure. 7 months from Doan, 2300. Just a bunch of Keplers. One is enough. One Kepler.
Can't be.
300 bits from Disaster Lives in Me. I'm on my way to work right now, and it's really smoky outside. So much so that I was almost run over by a car crossing the street on my way to the SkyTrain. I'm currently wearing bright orange high visibility clothing. That's how thick it was. That's not good. That's quite bad. Mm-hmm. But also, you know, just based on some of the images that I've seen, I don't doubt that, because it's they're simplifying it a lot, but there are parts of the U.S. that are experiencing, let's say, fire.
What's another word?
Now.
Fire.
They are. 9 months from Courtney D. Smith. I made it live for the first time since school started back up. I haven't been able to make it because on Tuesday I have a meeting with my project team for my capstone project. Today's meeting was short. And on Thursdays I have an online quiz. Well, good luck on your quizzes. I hate quizzes. I don't mind them too much if I'm told about them ahead of time. But I really hate it when
You hate pop quizzes.
I don't like pop quizzes.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like that. Like,
I know.
don't surprise me with the need to know knowledge. I'm planning on learning the knowledge right before the test.
Pop quiz.
Mallory, please.
How many
What?
Keplers do we have?
1.
Are you sure about that? Think about how much you have to feed him. Maybe there's 2.
Wouldn't that be wild? Wouldn't that be wild if one day, like, we noticed there really was 2, and we're like, oh my god. It's just they'd always been in 2 different spots.
There was a story I read once about someone who was visiting a friend, and they were like, oh, this cat is so nice. And they were like, yeah, that's the nicest one of the bunch or something. And they were like, wait. And they ended up having like 4 cats that looked the same.
Oh. Spark says one of them is a horse. Okay, pop quiz. A Beatles song, blank today. Can you fill in the blanks?
Yes.
Good job! Earthbound. 25 months from Skit Scott. Appreciate it, Scott. 8 months from Shanoth. This is morning, everyone, or afternoon for Europeans like me, or even evening for people from Asia or Australia. Time zones are weird, man. So, Steven, since you mentioned them, do you have a good story about crime in restaurants for breakfast? I mean... trying to think of a crime restaurant.
A crime restaurant.
I think on Disc Only I had, I think on Disc Only, like, either last month or the month before, I had mentioned, the stabbing that took place in the Denny's.
In the Denny's. We're back to Denny's.
But I don't know that I don't know if I ever talked about that.
No, I don't think you did.
I think I was just like, yep,
Stabbing in the
stabbing
Denny's.
in the Denny's, and then I just moved on. But yeah, there was a time, I was with my parents, and I was apparently young. So I don't know how old I was.
Yeah, they've told this story.
But we were at the Denny's in Myrtle Beach, and we were eating or whatever. Or, no, did we even have our food yet? I don't know what it was. I think we had
No,
just...
you didn't.
I don't think we had our food yet. I think we just got in, and, like, they were, like, gonna bring us drinks or whatever. And, someone came in and was like yelling about something, and there was some sort of like disturbance up in the
There
foyer.
was an altercation and someone got stabbed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember my mom retelling the story was like, someone came in and was yelling about something, and she was like, felt really uncomfortable because someone was like being extremely loud. And then the next thing you know, like someone got stabbed. And that's bad. You don't want to get stabbed at a restaurant. Anyway, it was fine. I think we left. Oh, stabbing. Just gonna go out the other door. Generally, you don't stick around when there's a stabbing. You're like, oh.
Yeah, I hope so.
Andrew says that's my only goal. Don't die at Denny's. Across the street from that Denny's was Burger King, and
Save it for disc only.
someone died. Someone died in that Burger King. Anyway, 8 months for Shinoff. Oh wait, that's the one I read. Sorry, I was talking about crime in restaurants. 300 bits from Satsy who says, so I've slept on my arm funny. It's enough to be extremely painful and near immovable, which means I'm trying to keep my keyboard use as low as possible. I'm gonna hate being unable to respond to the hijinks you're going to no doubt set off in the next 20 minutes or more. I'm sorry. It's all right. Just just wiggle it, and then play the Aquabats song.
I don't know him that well.
They have a heavy metal song called "I Fell Asleep on My Arm." I fell asleep on my arm, and now it's totally numb. I fell asleep on my arm. It's good. I guess it's old now. It's like in my brain, I'm like, it's like a good song, and I'm like, oh, it's probably like 20 plus years old. Because I listened to that in high school.
Your
Anyway.
grandpa now.
Yeah, I know. 18 months from Rocktron LPs. 18 months of crunch. My, how time flies. Here's to many more months of crunch. 1+. Appreciate it. 300 bits from Pickletron. Since the name...
Yeah, that hurt.
It's dramatic. It was also dramatic because I stopped. I increased the drama. I took the drama dial and was like, turn that up. Turn up that drama
my
dial.
sneezes have hurt.
What?
I don't know. It hurts.
What? Is it like a extra powerful sneeze?
It must be.
You got the horsepower. You're like a Ford Mustang, but for sneezes. Pegatron says, since the name IHOP is taken, what would Apple name their pogo sticks? You took me on a journey.
Well, need anything?
You going on a walk?
I'm gonna get some water.
Okay. Goodbye. 5 months from White 15 Wolf. Appreciate it. 300 bits from Dr. Robotnik. I always know it's Tuesday or Thursday when I can pick out eye crust while Grandpa complains about pricing and somehow complains about the pricing in the wrong way. The real complaint is that tax isn't included in the shelf price, like the UK. Yeah, I mean, I've been to places where tax is included and it's helpful. But, when you live here, it's so... You're so used to it.
Used to what?
Tax not being included in shelf price of items.
Oh yeah.
So you just always know you're gonna
Pay some unknown number because in South Carolina it changes based on if you're in certain cities or counties or like regions. So like our county has a tax, but if you go into Myrtle Beach proper, it's like 1% more. And then some things are taxed differently. And then if it's tax-free weekend, which is right before school starts, some things are tax-free. It makes no sense.
So if you go to the store and, you know, you're buying something that's like, I don't know, $10.99. So that's, you know, it's about $11, but you're probably gonna have, you know, up to maybe like $1 extra. So you just kind of factor that in, basically, the best you can. But yeah, it's I don't know. If you live in the U.S., that's just normal.
Brayden says, "How about North Myrtle?" I actually don't know what our tax is because it's so different wherever we go. In Wisconsin, it was always like 5% or something. It was like always the same for everything.
Yeah, depending on where you are and what you're buying, the tax ranges wildly here because there's tourism taxes too. So it depends. Like eating out is a whole thing because you don't know exactly what it's going to be. But the price of the tax on like goods and services is like 8. Is it 8 here? I think like if I went to Walmart and I was like, I need a bag of cat litter, it's like 8%, 7 or 8%. I don't know. You can tell that I don't know a whole lot about where I live. I'm serious about these lyrics today. Jules was the first victim, and now we got Sab Irene. Boom. Taking them out.
Our sales tax is 6%, but some counties have an additional 1%, and then some cities have an additional another single percent.
That's why I can't remember if it's 7 or 8, because it's literally both.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Cool. 500 bits from Kazuyama says, "Hey, did you know that Extra Life is in 2 weeks? Are you ready for some Barbie as the Island Princess?" Yeah, I'm ready. The biggest curiosity I have is, since we beat Barbie as the Island Princess on GBA in under 30 minutes, can we beat Barbie as the Island Princess for Wii in under 30 minutes? Is it possible? I don't know. Never played it. But I'm willing to try. I hope that we do get at least one full LP out of the Wii Extra Life. Like, there's some game that we play that takes less than 30 minutes. I know of some games, actually. That are that short. Because there's a few games that are apparently, like, identical.
Merry Christmas?
No. We discussed them on an Extra Life, on a breakfast stream in the past, and I don't remember what they are. One's like Gingerbread Man or something. Someone might say something to jog my memory, but there's like a few games that are extremely similar. And one of the, like, one or two of them can be beat, the whole game, you can beat the whole game in like 20 minutes. Gingerbread Man, I think, is one of them. But there's some other ones, and they all share like the same HUD and stuff. Like, they're literally the same game, but they changed the models. Yeah, Anubis 2 is one of them. Yep. It's like Gingerbread Man, Anubis 2, and then Candy something. That's it. Trixie and Toyland. And Rock and Roll Adventure. Yep, that's the full list. Apparently those games are, like, ridiculously similar. And, 2 or 3 of them are, like, less than 20 minutes long. Like, they're ridiculously bad games. And that's my favorite thing. Anubis 2, there is no Anubis 1. Most of them are the same game. Oh god, it's lovely. It's lovely. So yeah, could we, you know, there's gonna be probably some games that we, like, just beat them, which is great. Squid says hooray for plagiarism. Well, I think they're the same developer. I think they literally just like put out the same game again and again and again. They were like,
Just change the characters.
The thing is, in that era, it worked. Mm-hmm. It worked. I hate that it worked, but it did work. And these are the games that, like, the MSRP on them was only $20, if that, $15, and they just put them like next to the register. So it's like, oh, my kid has a Wii, Anubis 2, yeah, give me that. Like, it's crazy. Anyway. 2 months from Stoop Kid, who says, woo, 2 months. I'm looking forward to more. Good morning, grandparents. Thank you, Stoop Kid. An anonymous gifter gifted a sub to Flaming Bagel for Christ. It's a very, very hard name to get in there.
You know it's great. Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Yeah, well, I know that.
I learned this weekend that Haley also loves Cracklin' Oat Bran and did not eat other cereals as a kid.
Is it a Midwestern thing? Certainly not. Kellogg's in Michigan.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a Midwestern thing.
But, like, we were talking about it, and Haley's like, yeah, that was the only cereal I liked as a kid. And I was like, me too!
They're just, you know... They're fine. They're fine. Plain Cheerios. Honey Nut, but I'm not big on the plain ones. They used to have, I don't know, I haven't been down cereal aisle in a long time, but there was a bunch of other flavored Cheerios too. Like, there was like an apple one. There was chocolate Cheerios. There was fruity ones, which I'm like, these are Fruit Loops Cheerios. Just stop it. You have your own part of the market. Stop trying to get in on the Fruit Loops. These are just Fruit Loops. They even look like Fruit Loops. But there's more than that too. Because there's also like, there's like ones that are wheat, but they have like a weird name. It's like whole ancient grain something. Oh yeah, Frosted Cheerios too. God, Frosted Cheerios. Those are just frosted flavors. Cinnamon Cheerios? What? Yeah, when I was a kid, there was only two. There was just two whenever I was young. There was Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios. So now that there's like 10 Cheerio flavors, I'm like, maybe we've gone too far. That's what I'm saying. Maybe, you know, should there really be 10 on the shelf at once? Why don't we get rid of a few? Are people really eating, you know, what's one? The cinnamon ones? Why not eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Did I try Chocolate Cheerios at some point? I remember at some point we did try some other something. But I'm not sure what it was. I have a very distinct memory of trying those, what was it? Crave?
Yeah, with the chocolate inside.
Yeah. Brandon says it's a real product. Yeah! I wasn't making it up.
You know what's something I really...
It was a real
what
product.
cereal I really hated? I hated Smacks. There's something
Smacks-
about the taste I did not like as a kid.
I agree. Sorry, sometimes you say words that are meaningless. Chaz, is that you? Is that my wife on the screen? Sometimes I do, yeah. Smacks. I think they're officially called Sugar Smacks. Sugar Smacks. They're not good. I think they're still around, but I don't know who's buying them. They're too sticky. They have a weird taste. It's one of those things like they're okay. Like if I was at someone's house and they're like, for breakfast we're having Sugar Smacks, I'd be like, okay. Like I could get through them, but they're not good. There's so many other cereals that achieve what Sugar Smacks are trying to achieve, but like in better ways. Are they sugar? Are they honey smacks? Oh, they're honey smacks. So my shirt says, grew up with basically the Korean equivalent. I'm a fan. There's people out there that like them.
Whenever I'd go see my grandma on my mom's side, she would have Rice Krispies.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'd have like the old-fashioned sugar jar with the little flappy lid. And we were allowed to pour sugar on our Rice Krispies.
You say,
And I didn't like them, so I used a lot of sugar.
you say this. You tell this story like this is a unique situation. Every kid who grew up eating Rice Krispie treats poured so much sugar on them that they got an immediate cavity. We didn't buy Rice Krispies very much growing up because my issue with Rice Krispies is that because they're physically so small, they get soggy almost immediately. But did I pour a ton of sugar into them? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't want to eat the cereal though. You know what I want? I want the crispy treats. That's what I want. Pikatron, thank you. Look at all that milk. Appropriate actually, since we've been talking about cereal. The more we talk about cereal though, the more I do want cereal.
You know what?
I don't want that cereal. That's not what I
Can you
want.
close that up for me?
Yeah. I don't know what I want. I want a cereal, but I don't know which one I want. I want to peruse. So he thinks I'm talking to her. Maybe I would get me one of them fancy Cheerios. Oh, Frosty! Oh, I haven't had Frosty Mini Wheats in a long time. I bought them in college. Yeah. In college, I would buy cereal, but we'd buy it at Walmart, where you get the off-brand stuff that's in a bag, and it's like half the price, and you get 4 times the cereal. And obviously, they don't have it for every single one, but there was some good options. I remember there was one that was like blueberries, and it smelled like cat piss. Or something like that. Might be crossing some wires in my head, but there's something that was like not so good, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But there's one that smelled like pee. I think it tasted fine, but it smelled like pee, and I just don't want to smell pee when I'm eating. Anyway, I gotta keep reading. 300 bits from DC Racer says, couldn't imagine a better way to spend my birthday morning than with my internet grandparents and family. Happy birthday. I hope that for your birthday, you were hoping for cereal discussion. Because that's what you get. Noah says you shouldn't pee where you eat. Don't pee where you eat, my friend. 300 bits from Forwolf who says, fun fact, tapas means little taste and are wildly popular in Spain, where you can get them at most every food place. My big issue with tapas is that you don't get enough food. That's my main problem with tapas. Because like when we've been to tapas places, the prices are, you know, they might be a little lower than normal food, but they're usually not much lower.
And you get like a bite.
You know, so for me to get full at a tapas place, I gotta spend like approximately $1 billion. It's a lot easier to just eat a little at the tapas place and then go to Hardee's.
Hi, bud. You jump in my lap.
One of the reasons I'm not super fond of tapas. Anyway, you coming back? Where did you go? You want to come back up here?
He had appointments.
He might have.
Early morning appointments.
He's got things to do.
You hiring some new temp employees?
Businessman Kepler.
CEO Kepler.
You going over there? Yeah, you've been chosen.
He had a meeting with other Kepler.
Don't do that to me. You might be too.
Hi, sweetie.
300 bits from Gold Major says, still no new animal chosen, but Steven, you've played through all of Skyrim, right? I'd like to give you an animal fact about 2 different animals in Skyrim. Have to be animals, humanoids, and dragons don't count, that we don't have in our real life. And Mao, how many of the 10 playable Skyrim races can you remember? I've been on a Skyrim kick lately, can you tell? God, I played the whole game and I couldn't even tell you the races.
Elf.
First off, no, that is not a race.
What's the pointy ears then?
I'm just saying,
Was-
elf is not one of the Skyrim
So
races.
who did I play as? An elf?
There's 2 different elf races.
Okay.
Do you know which ones they are?
Wood elf.
No.
Highborn.
You're closer.
Oh.
There's high elf and dark elf,
Okay.
I think. Are there 3? Oh, is wood elf one of them? Apparently there are 3. Hey, wood elves is one of them. Oh, well, it's just how much I remember. High, low, and medium. Give me one of them high elves.
And let's see, playable, and then there's Kaji and
It's the only one that matters, right?
Lizard.
Really?
Hey, I remembered it.
I mean, you're not wrong. Gosh darn it.
What is it?
Argonian.
Argonia.
His name is Argyle. They share the first 3 letters. Argyle, Argonian.
And then there's like
That's all the ones that matter. And then
2
there's
types
like,
of people. I don't remember, like humans.
yeah, there's Redguard? Is that one? Is that from Oblivion? I don't know. Anyway,
Cappy,
You know.
snuggle time? It's snuggle time.
as far as animal facts in Skyrim, walrus go. "Rrr." This is the best I can do. Walrus go. "Rrr." 5 months from Cambiguous. Appreciate it. 500 bits from Kazuome says, Tapas always brings me back to watching the IT crowd and Moss pronouncing it tape ass. Is the IT crowd the one that Dan really likes?
I believe so.
I think so. I've never seen it. I've heard good things. Let's see. 12 months from Ragoose Goose. It says, 12 months of breakfast stream. Cool. Good work. You have achieved the 1. Homemade says, Walrus is the one you remember? Yeah. Listen, there's like... Oh, there's also crab. There's like 2 animals in Skyrim. One is crab, one is walrus. That's it. I don't think there's any other ones. 9 months from Skullapender says, I'm naming this one Benry. It's a good name. 25 months from Troop Captain 97. Appreciate it. 300 bits from Rara Oaks. It says, Hi, Stephen. Hi, Mal. So, you brought up Extra Life. So, I'm telling you my terrible plan for Extra Life. I donated $50 to Disney Princess Enchanted Tales. Anybody else wants to jump in, they're happy to do so. I mainly wanted to do it because that was my childhood. I saw that on there. I don't even know what that is. There's a few Disney Princess games, and I'm aware of that, but I don't know what Enchanted Tales contains.
What's the game with Elton Brown in it?
Cooking Network Cook Time.
That one sounds fun. I just want to see.
Cooking Network.
I just want to
Let's
see
cook
the
with
Mii
Alton.
version of Elton Brown.
Yeah, there is an Alton Brown. A game that contains Alton Brown. So. Brandon says, see, example of meaningless words. 17 months from Nerdy Rivalries, it says, as someone who actually knows how to code, these stories of using Dreamweaver as what you see was what you get editor instead of using the HTML tab are horrifying.
I learned how to code stuff later.
Yeah. Yeah, eventually I got to the point where I was making sites in Notepad, and that felt cool. But before that, Web Dwarf. Dwarf Forge. Web Dwarf Forge. I don't know what it was called. It was bad. It was like a shareware thing. With a little bit of Dreamweaver.
Excuse you?
That's illegal, sir. You can't get on that. Are you lost? You looking for a different lap? That's it. You did it. Good work. Anyway, 300 bits from Jethy Picard says, Grandparents, have you ever been to Maple Biscuit Company? It is a guilty pleasure breakfast spot.
Is that where Dan took us
That's where
in Florida?
That sounds familiar. I don't know if that's a chain.
There was a couple in Jacksonville that were Maple Biscuit Company, maybe? It was a biscuit place.
Yeah. We went somewhere with Dan in Jacksonville, and it was like they had really particular hours, and we had to, but it was like a really, really good breakfast. Like, I don't remember exactly what I had, but it was a biscuit something. It was really, really good. But I don't know if that was Maple Biscuit Company. It could have been. Possible. Let's see. 536 bits from Ollie Tomlinson. Hi again. Class was canceled, so I'm going to spend the rest of my time reminding you to speak after time. I will remember. I will remember. I'll probably remember. We had 301 bits from Squid for Bean Star Rain, and then 300 bits from Pickletron for Bean Star Rain, making sure that we got them beans there. Yoshiller gifted a sub to Busy Kick. Appreciate that. 300 bits from Disaster Lives in Me. I made it the rest of the way. My voice stopped. I had to reset it. I made it the rest of the way just fine. Getting off the SkyTrain, the smoke was gone. 30-minute trip. Also, I'm Canadian. Oh, well. There's smoke everywhere then. Whenever I think of, smoke and fire, I'm always thinking of West Coast U.S., but smoke in other places.
It even gets here. Not as thick, but... Yeah,
it's not even close, so I don't even really consider it. Now grab a game. Oh god, she's gonna be too slow. Mallory. I really love thinking about that thing which is called Tack. Tack is this guy, and he has a gross guardian, and he also likes toast. Jesus, could you have moved just a little bit faster? That's the kid that, you really took your time.
I didn't...
You did! Why didn't you just turn around? You got up and ran that direction. For what purpose?
Here, you want another one?
No!
Okay.
No, I don't want another one. Tack was a game. It was correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was a game. It was a series of games, and then Nickelodeon bought the rights and made it into a show, and then they made a game based on the show, even though it was always a game. Am I wrong on that? I think that's right. I think it's right. I think it started as a game. Yeah, okay. That's weird. Started as a game. Nickelodeon was like, that should be a show. And then they made a game based on the show. And I'm like, that's just what it was. A very bad show? I've never seen the show. See, the ones on, there's Tack games on GameCube. Those was before, that's before it was bought by Nickelodeon. Mm-hmm. But these ones are post-Nickelodeon. What does it mean? I don't know. Anyway. Nick always had the rights? Oh, did they? Oh. Anyway, that was 6,000 from Pickletron. Says, Mal, grab a game for Steven to sing about. See, we'll have to start making sure that folks include quickly. Mal, quickly grab a game.
Pickletron didn't want that to be quick. They wanted it right as it started. Here you go.
Okay. 30 bits from Pickletron, who says, Pop quiz, Steven. Who painted Starry Night? Guy.
Yes.
Ear guy. Ear guy. Redheaded ear guy. Redheaded ear guy. What's his name? Emilio. Jon Snow. Cody.
Starts with a V.
Van Gogh. That was pretty close. Guy Fieri. I've had so much art history. And it's very clear to me that as soon as I was done with it, I was like,
Your brain
and
was like,
flush.
gone.
300 from Squid. Speaking of breakfast stabbings, there was one kid in my high school who tried to stab another kid's hand with a plastic knife. He had issues. He was in my video class senior year. I don't know where I'm going with this. I mean, if you're going to stab someone, a plastic knife seems very inefficient. Unless you whittle it to a sharp point. 8 months from Hypnofant. Almost to the triple. 300 from Dr. Robotnik. There was a period of time where any time I would sneeze, it felt like someone took a hammer to my elbow.
Huh.
What? That's... What? What? That's... over here. What does that mean? You sneezed, but you felt it in your elbow? That's... like... That's kind of wild. I feel like I would... I don't know what I would do. Sephiroth says that's a pinched nerve somewhere. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If it went away on its own, I guess it's fine. But if it was around for a while, I feel like I would have went to the doctor because I'd have been like, when I sneeze, my elbow hurts. That's interesting.
Fluff.
Huh. Anyway. Yes, Stephen, your elbow's on your arm. I just wanted everyone to know that even though I couldn't remember Van Gogh, I do know where my elbows are. I have never lost... Well, I've lost one once, but I haven't found it. I know my elbows. Thomas says, where is it? Right here.
I had paint on my elbow earlier.
You...
There's still paint on my arm.
You get paint all over you all the time.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. Where was I? I was here. 5 months from Nilla Thunder. Appreciate it. 300 bits from Disaster Lives in Me. Mal, your sneeze just reminded me to take my allergy pills because dust allergies and an elevator on a construction site are not a good combo.
I gotta take mine yet. I forgot.
I got a sprayer.
Yeah, that's what I haven't done yet.
Seems to work good. I feel like when I do it, that I don't get ear infections if I just keep doing it. It was also, the ENT also told me to do that. So, I try to make sure I remember every day because ear infections are awful. They're really, really awful. What are you laughing about? Armored Frog gifted a sub to Not David Lynch. La-dee-da. Appreciate that. 500 bits from I Know How to Spell Calm. Story time. We had a friend named Hunter in college, but he was a vegan, so we called him Gatherer. I can't tell if that's a joke or a real, but I accept both. Gatherer is so much harder to say than Hunter. Oh, this is a lyric track? Okay. Good call. No, we don't. Lyrics. I'll let it play out. But I took care of it. Picklotron's Big Milk Bomb, 10 subs. Went to Ikaruga, VLink64, Trevbot 911, Aaron 04534, Born 96, W James MCI, Gwenny 1234, Sammy Weiss, Azuka Tenori, and Holy Palm. Picklotron, thank you. Appreciate it. Mazelle with an E gifted a sub to Honey Smacks. Now I want them. Now I want them just to see. Maybe
you can get one of those variety box packs.
Oh man, I used to get those when we would go up to
visit your extended family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get 10 little tiny boxes. Even as a kid, it wasn't enough cereal. You'd open one of them, the little boxes up.
It was for me.
Oh. As a kid, it wasn't enough cereal, and now I'm like, oh, I would be doomed. I would be super doomed.
Yeah.
I'd be taking 2 of the same kinds and putting them in the bowl and being like, well, there we go. Thomas says there's only like 4 good ones in that 10
pack. And those
pack.
are mine.
3 of them are like Raisin Bran, and that sucks.
And those are yours.
Now I kind of, can't imagine why as a kid growing to 6'6" you needed a lot of food. Me either. very strange. I now I really want one of them. I can eat them dry.
I know.
But but this is my big thing, is each of them contains so little cereal. It's sad. And they're kind of expensive for what they are. It'd be cheaper to get like a thing of chips. This has got lyrics too. No, you don't, Jules. You stop. I'm moving on. Take that. 500 bits from Ronaldo to spell calm. Oh my god, Moss is played by Richard Ayoade? Ayoade? Watch his reality show, Travel Man, or any of his interviews. He's my spirit animal. He got a tough last name, but I tried. We'll see how I did. 300 bits from Ollie Tomlinson, who says, "Speak after Tom." I'm just gonna be doing that throughout the entire show now. Like anytime he starts to talk, I'll be like, "Hey, I'm."
You're 2 topics back because Tom hasn't talked in a while.
Always waiting for. Always waiting for Tom to speak. 20 months from Opie SSBM. Appreciate it.
Kepler's opening the door.
Yeah, but not on purpose.
No.
Ayoade? I was pretty close, I think, then. I think that's how I pronounce it. I tried. 7 months at Tier 2 Gold Toast from Prince Riku says, as always, we gain fun facts. Of the many Nickelodeon franchises put on the Wii, 70% of those were canceled within a year of their game's release. We curse or just Nick having bad shows? Probably the latter. Probably Nick just investing in bad television. There were so many shows on Nick. Like, you can think back to like a show that, if you think hard, you'll think of like a show that you're like, oh, I remember that, and then you'll realize, wait, did it have even like a full season? The things that people remember are like the stuff that's been around for a long time. So, oh yeah, Barnyard. I've never seen an episode of Barnyard, but I know about.
Never heard of it.
I know about Barnyard because it was directed or produced by Steve Odekirk, who also.
I know who he is, but I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, Steve Odekirk was obviously the lead for Kung Pao, but the reason I like Steve Odekirk is that he was one of the. He directed the second Ace Ventura film, which was my favorite movie. Mm-hmm. So that level of comedy really resonated with me as a kid. But I've never seen Barnyard, and I feel like there's a part of me that kind of wants to see it because I'm like, well, it's by Steve Odekirk. I wonder how I would feel. Or maybe I'd be like, this is bad. One of the two. 100 bits from Bubbles, 8738. Appreciate it. 9 months from Frosty, who says, as a resident knife enthusiast, I love this conversation. Also, 9 months. Can I trade my baby in for another cat?
Yep.
Yep. At least here. Get them cats. 500 bits from now to spill calm. Story time. In high school, my history teacher gave us an assigned reading, the preface of one of the supplementary books. The next day, he surprised us with a pop quiz on that preface. No one read it, and we all panicked. He never brought it up again, and it turns out it was a fake pop quiz to make us all vigilant and ready. I guess that works to some extent.
Yeah.
Like you're just putting the fear of God in people to make sure that they pay attention during class. I just don't like pop quizzes, man. I don't like quizzes in general. I don't like being tested on my knowledge of a subject. Down with quizzes. Down with exams. Just make class engaging that I want to learn. How about that? And then I'll retain it because I'm genuinely invested. Break the system. Anyway. Strong opinions. And also, some people just don't test well. It doesn't mean that they're stupid or they're inadequate in that specific subject. They just don't test well. You put them in a quiet room where they've got to fill in little circles, and then they're like, oh, well, you're an idiot because you couldn't do the test. No! Maybe I just don't test well. Anyway. Sub from Circular Onyx. Welcome. Need a bit some read. The Nintendo Painter says, just wanted to check in on what date Extra Life is this year. I'm a little excited for it this year. October 24th for you and for anyone else who hasn't heard the date. October 24th. Spark says, pop quiz. Do you speak before or after Tom? After Tom. After Tom. I remember. Thomas says when? October 24th. October 24th. It's a Saturday. It's 18 days away. Math works out on that. 18 days. Whew. I'm so excited. I'm so very excited. 3 Bits and Pickletron says, Pop Quiz 2, Electric Boogaloo, Cubism was popularized by which painter who also had a blue period? I don't know. I don't know. I know you do.
Well, let's see. He had the one picture of the guy with the guitar, and that's part of the blue period. And then he started to go into, like, this kind of cubism thing. And then he went full-blown cubism.
He's like the famous Cubist guy. Yeah. Well, Van Gogh's famous too, and I was like, Jon Snow?
Starts with a P.
Pierre Escargot.
It's weird because Van Gogh is like V and then V, and then this is also P and P. First name starts with a P and last name starts with a P.
Pierre Prescott.
Pablo
Escobar. Pablo Pescobar.
That's close enough.
Pablo Paparelli. Pablo Pacubist. Pablo Painter.
Pablo Painter.
Please tell me. Picasso? Oh yeah, Picasso did Cubism. Oh yeah.
I think it was him who was a bit full of himself when he said, I think it was him, and he was like, I grew up to be Picasso. Like, kids can be anything, but I grew up to be Picasso or something. He said something like that. It might have been someone else. I didn't get good sleep, so I'm...
He sounds awful. Hey, Pablo! I like Pablo Painter. Yeah, I couldn't think of Picasso. It just couldn't. It could not. Nope. We've seen some of Picasso's actual work.
Mm-hmm. You've seen a couple of Van Goghs, too.
Yep. And Monet. And Manet.
Mm-hmm. And... Seurat.
Yeah. Clearly I have not retained things very well. But also, it's a toss-up, really. Like, you'd have asked me this on another day. Who knows?
Aaron F. Francis, I saw Guernica. Oh, I'm jealous.
Monet did the pond. Monet did, like, flowers.
Landscapes.
There's a very particular look. And Manet did ballerinas.
No.
No?
Manet did, like, everyday life, but, like...
Who did the ballerinas?
All of his stuff was a little strange, like,
Who did
in
the
proportion.
ballerinas?
Degas.
Oh, Degas. Oh, mother. Alright, well,
Monet, Manet, Renoir, Degas.
The one advantage you have is I learned this. You taught this.
Yeah.
Probably a little easier.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit easier when you... Thomas said, what did mayonnaise do, though? Ruined sandwiches. Strong opinions. Ruined... most anything it touched.
Sassy says, are those knockoff Ninja Turtles? Yup.
Degas, Monet, Manet, Sarah,
Renoir.
Renoir. Bold statement, but fair. I think so.
Seurat was kind of after them. Those four were the main Impressionists.
Yeah, well, did you take film history? I probably don't remember much about that either, so don't. Rosebud.
Coffee.
Read the Nintendo Painter gifted a sub to Sab Irene. Oh, that's nice. And Sab's here. Hi, Sab. Hope you're doing well. Hope your week is starting off good. Starting out. It's a Tuesday. It's kind of starting.
Yeah, kinda.
Kind of starting. A little bit. And we also got 300 bits from Goldmage. It's quiz time. Which painter created the painting Frozen Tropics based off of a popular video game? Is that what you titled it?
I don't remember.
I guess that's you. I guess it's you. Fun fact, the names of the paintings are decided like
Sometimes beforehand. Sometimes when the video's almost done.
there is many times where the name of the painting is decided like 20 minutes before it goes to YouTube. In fact, I would say more than half of them are decided then. Because when we're doing the video and we get to the end, it shows the name of the painting next to it. And that is usually when it's like, what should we call this? And then Mal and I will go back and forth about like, yeah, this. So it's not a you know, it's not like something that you're thinking about ahead of time. It's just like,
Yeah.
that sounds good. When did you decide to call Duck Duck?
There was
we
a
were
really good name. I think Chaz came up for it after I released the video, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good one."
I think we had been calling it Duck. Maybe.
Yeah, I think we were, but there was a better name someone came up with.
Yeah. Anyway, 500 bits from Noah Spoke Calm says, if you could travel in the Tardis, time and space travel. Sorry, my first thought was like, that's what Tardis is an acronym for, and then I reread it and was like, nope. Time and really deep inner spatial space travel. Tardis. Which artist would you meet? You should probably answer this because I'm...
I had a dream that I met... Oh my gosh, I just blanked on his name.
Now you know what it's like.
I know.
It's probably Pablo.
No, it's not.
They used to call him
Goldsworthy?
Double Pob.
Goldsworthy. I think it might be Goldsworthy.
Dub Pob. That's Pablo. Dub Pob. You're welcome. He runs a chain of restaurants called
Yes.
B-Pob.
I had a dream I got to meet Andy Goldsworthy. He did a bunch of stuff with like leaves and stuff and like fading leaves from like one color to another. It was all like nature art, and he'd go into the woods and just like organize leaves.
I don't know what artists I would meet, to be honest.
I think the ones I'd want to meet are all still living. Because, like, I think Jerry Ellsman's still alive. photographer who did like the really crazy surrealist stuff in the dark room. Pretty sure he's still alive.
I don't know who I'd meet, to be honest. There's no one I really want to. A lot of the folks who are great are kind of awful. I could meet Kubrick and be like, "Why were you so awful?" That's what I would use the Tardis for. Why did you?
Cause
Why did you cause lifelong irreparable damage
Shelley Duvall.
to Shelley Duvall? Why did you do that? Why did you fake that moon landing, Stanley Kubrick? I already know my favorite artist. I do. I got one right here. I don't forget her name.
Part of my name is your name.
That's why I can remember half of it. I'm doing pretty good about that one. Doing my best. Anyway. Things to announce. Max says, what's her name? Speak after Tom! Speaking of, tonight at what time did we do them? 8? 9? 9? I think it's 9. Is it 9? I think it's 9 Eastern. Please tell me it's 9. I don't know. Yeah, it's 9. Okay. I didn't know. I was like, I was somewhere around then. 9 p.m. Eastern on John's Twitch.television channel. We'll be playing podcast. It's my favorite game. Disc only.
Coffee.
And then... Is there anything else to announce? That's basically it. Get excited for Extra Life.
My painting's like mostly done.
You had a rough night.
I'm going to sleep and then
You
do
had a rough night.
I had a rough night.
You had a very rough night. When people finally watch the painting, they'll be like, oh, it's alright. Hey, you've had a good run of doing however many, 90 something. It's been a long time
93?
since you've had a oh no moment.
Yeah.
You were overdue.
Yeah.
Mal had to repaint a large section. It was certainly an oh no moment, but you're getting back to where you were.
Yeah.
Getting back to where you were.
Yeah.
Again, it's inevitable. There ain't no Control Z on a painting.
Nope.
Digital artists are like, that sucks. Layer delete. And Mal's like, oh no. And I'm like, I can't help you. Anyway, 300 bits from Ryan who says, see what's your favorite Kubrick film? I'm torn between 2001 and Full Metal Jacket. I haven't seen FMJ. I've seen clips of it, and I feel like I'd probably like it. 2001's great and memorable.
Shining is good.
Yeah, I like The Shining in 2001 for very different reasons.
Yeah.
The performances in Shining are great. Sometimes for not great reasons, but they're great. 2001, I don't know. It's just a lot of it's like the cinematography. It's very wide. The color choices. It's been a while since I've watched 2001. I don't think I ever watched it with you, did I?
Nope.
I really wanted to rewatch it. I
saw it in high school. It came on TV and we missed the beginning. It was very confusing.
I have it on Blu-ray.
I know.
So at some point I would like to watch it with you. I just haven't.
That's okay. There's a something I want to watch that we can watch together. They will be very different. There's a ballet I want to watch.
Okay. We're gonna watch a movie on Thursday, I think. Possibly. What if we watch 2001? 2001's like rated G, which is wrong, but it was back during a time when they were like, Blues Brothers, I don't know, PG? Are you sure, Randy? It has the F word in it like 20 times. They're like, but is it R? I guess not. All right, PG. Done. We'll never need another rating. Rating sport. All right, we're gonna wrap up here. We've had a few 2-hour streams. This one will not be 2 hours. Thank you for being here. Hope you had fun. I had fun talking about movies and cereal and art history, which clearly need some work on. Hopefully I'll see you tonight. I'll be over John's at 9 p.m. Eastern. And otherwise, we will see you at 9 a.m. Eastern.
On Thursday.
On Thursday. Yeah. Have a great day, everybody. Hope you get a bagel or something. If you like bagels, it's up to you.